Now, AdSeg is a crazy part of my life and a crazy portion of my journey through prison. And I say that because I wound up spending a total of 10 years in AdSeg. And I know people will always ask why. The reason is when I was going through the diagnostic facility, I was observed interacting with some of the guys that were there. I mean, it's just what you do. You meet people when you're there. And those people turned out to be gangbangers who were associated with the Bloods. Because of me being seen associating with them, I got labeled as a Blood. So a part of your process for getting out of AdSeg was you had to meet with a gang coordinator, and this gang coordinator every single time wanted me to admit to being a Blood, confess to who had put me on, and tell them who I ran with. I've never been a member of a gang. I've never been a gang member, and you can call it pride, but I would never allow myself to admit to something that I wasn't, just to try to get out. So it wound up being a 10-year process, and you'll see some guys that would go to AdSeg and they would stay in trouble to make sure they didn't get out. I can honestly admit that I went a 6-year straight period with no disciplinary action. I gave them no reason to hold me there. I was just held until one day I got to step in front of a different gang coordinator who looked at my file and thought that it looked weird. And you know, they accused me of having gang tattoos, to which I responded, I'll strip butt naked for you right now and you won't see a single gang tattoo on me. And he decided to give me my chance. But during this process, during the 10 years that I was there, was when things started to change for me, and it changed at the age of 23. Being in AdSeg, you don't have a lot of perks. You don't have radios and, you know, stuff that drowns out the noise. So when people are there talking, you hear the conversations. And I remember one day hearing a guy that was, I think, like a week from getting out, talking about how his homies already had the drugs lined up for him. He was going to get out and he was going to go back to selling, but this experience had taught him how not to get caught, taught him the mistakes that he made before. And that to me was the dumbest shit I had ever heard in my life. Listening to a person in prison talking about going back to the thing that brought him to prison. And it made me sit back and reflect. And I came to the realization that I didn't like what I was hearing because I was seeing those qualities in myself. And that was the point that I made my choice that I needed to change me. It's not an overnight snap your finger, now I'm an angel, you know, but that was when I decided to take the steps that I needed to start improving myself as a person and be a better me for me, not for anybody else.